Welcome, folks. Still down here at the warehouse, quarantining from the old COVID, and I feel great. Thanks for asking. But I'm still really into it down here. I've been doing a few things, taking some time for old Rusty. That's the stuff I like to do, and then also doing some eBay stuff. Today, we're going to talk about some stuff that I've been listing. It's so easy. I'm going to tell you all the top reasons why I sell this category all the time. But first, let's take a look at the newest creation old Rusty took care of. I think you're going to like it. 1 and 2 and... Get ready, folks. We're talking about postcards. Every single one of the cards I'm going to show you here cost me $4 or less. And these will all sell on eBay for between $10 and $20, very realistically, in some cases even more than that. Let's get right into it here, folks. This is an awesome real picture postcard of a bunch of people. Let me just let you take a look here. It appears to me that this was some sort of school play, or it was maybe this is a 4th of July celebration. But you can see we've got kiddos dressed up here, and even some adults here. It looks like a class. You got some boys with their hats on. You got this person sitting in the bottom with a long goatee. It looks like maybe that's Uncle Sam. And then you got somebody else out here who I guess that would be considered blackface, where they've blacked out their face. Really interesting posed portrait there. It's definitely old and not used at all. Great condition photo, very interesting. Let's move to the next one. What do we have here? Why, it's some sort of bizarre creature with some sort of looks like a mummified head with some sort of weird torso and what appears to be like an alligator body or something strange. And then we got some sort of a head up here, a shrunken head. I don't know. What does it say? It says it's shrunken head from the Javon Indian jungle on the Amazon River. And then Jake the Alligator Man. He's from the famous California Museum. I don't know which museum that is, but some sort of a strange greeting card. Next up, we got this woman. Beautiful young woman here, portrait. Definitely turn of the century. She's holding a big old umbrella. She's standing inside someone's house. You can see this sort of floral, not floral, but almost like a tree or something kind of background, old wallpaper. You got this little crease down here. That does not help things, but I think it'll still sell. Something Smith in, does that say Fairburn, Georgia? This is from Georgia, it looks like. Real picture postcard. Now this one's awesome, folks. Shiny, a real picture postcard here. I'm going to get as close as I can. Hopefully it'll still, but look at these gentlemen on this tractor. Really awesome shot here. Gravel road. They're just workers. What a cool scene. On the back here, it says Moser and Son, Cincinnati, Ohio. Someone's really going to enjoy that. Next up, we got this gentleman, and he is just showing off what he had. It looks like he's done some bird hunting. He's got a shotgun there, some sort of interesting tie situation, and a cool hat. But he is sporting his game. He's got more down here at the bottom. It was a good hunting day for this gentleman. What does it say here? Henry Plager. And again, unposted, unwritten, not written on. Moving right along. I love these old postcards. This says it's the Wedding House Electric and Manufacturing Company, the main aisle. And look at these old machines, this old factory here. Incredible turn of the century. This is probably circa 1910, something like that. We'll see if it says on the back. It does not give the actual date. But really, really cool looking photographic card here. All right, we have Blondie Jones. Vote the Blondie Jones. It's campaign in literature. And you got this sign back here. It's a ticket. It says juniors. They're out in front of some sort of what appears to be a church or some sort of municipal building. And you got men out here with their hats with this big old banner. It's nice because it's a real picture postcard. It's also nice because it's political in nature. There are people who collect political postcards, and you've got this man with his prize fighting rooster. I don't know if it's a fighter, but he's certainly proud of that. Got that nice pants and vest on there with a little hat, and just look at that old rooster. It's a cool shot. You've got what they've put this filter thing around to give like a framed off representation of this photograph that was done in a round. Sometimes you see them different shapes. I've seen stars, I've seen squares, rectangles, I've seen fruit shapes like an apple or a pear, ovals, and this one's a circle. There are people who collect cards that just have this sort of feature on them as well. Next up, we have this young man. At first glance, nothing exciting. He's sitting in front of a backdrop that makes it look like a road or a bridge. But if you look real close, he's holding some sort of little stuffed horse. And on the back of it, it says spark plug. And I don't know if he made this, if he's like, hey, look at this thing I made, or if this is just, was something he went to bed with as a child and still does, and he's just like, this is what helped me through life. I don't really know. You can tell this was at one time glued into a postcard album, a book of some kind, because you've got the residual black paper. It was common from those old scrapbooks. Reason number one that I love to sell postcards is because they are really easy to ship. All I do is I use a tiny little mailer like this. Okay, I can get them for around 8 cents a piece, and a forever stamp. I buy my forever stamps in bulk, so instead of it costing 58 cents, it only costs me 38 cents. So it's really, really, really cheap to ship. That's one reason I love them. Next up, we've got this little beauty. And again, if I'm just looking at this from a distance, I think, okay, it's just some women out in the cornfield. There's several things going on here. First of all, they have bundled up a large bundle of corn stalks here. But if you look closer, you see they're having a good time. They're laughing. Why are they laughing? Well, it looks as though some of these women are dressed up like men. You've got this woman on the side here who's got some sort of fake beard on the very far left there, and in the front middle here, you've got this woman who also has a fake goatee coming off of her chin. What in the world is happening here? What are they doing? I don't know, but it's bizarre, to say the least. Anytime you have something that's rare, bizarre, strange, people eat that stuff up, folks. Uncommon stuff like this. Get right with God. You've got, I don't know if this is a revival meeting, if this is it's not a tent revival because this is a barn, if someone was coming to speak, but clearly there's some sort of religious gathering here where people are coming. It also looks like there's snow on the ground, so this is winter. Where was this taken? We do not know. A lot of these don't have information on them, and I have found, I don't know what your experience has been, but when you're buying stuff on eBay, it tends to seem like, just in general, if the card has information either on the front or the back to tell you where it's from, when it was made, those tend to sell better than the ones that do not. So just keep that in mind when you're looking, if that helps you at all. This is a very interesting shot. Unfortunately, we have some sort of error in the photographic process of making this, both in the background with those smudges and also this smudge across the front. That's an exposure problem. That's not damage to the card. But what you have is military men. This is circa World War I. You have a man with a drum. You have a man, looks like he has a flute or a piccolo. You got two men with brooms who are pretending to play guitar with him. In the front, you've got this man, and he's holding something like a I don't know, like a thing you'd use to dust your house with, something like that. And then this man has boxing gloves on. I would love to know what the story is here, what is happening with these guys, but very intriguing, very interesting. Real picture postcard in kind of a sepia color, not real black and white. This one's much more black and white. Down here it says, Minute something, James? Maybe I'm reading that maybe incorrectly. I can't quite read it. But these guys, I mean, look at these men with their old outfits on, their hats. My guess is they are here. Also some women I see. They're awesome old hats with the flowers on the top. This is a bandstand or a stage area. They're watching something. Maybe it's a rodeo. Maybe it's bullfighting. Maybe it's horse racing. But it's something like that, folks. They're all here to watch something, and they got this big barricade in front, guarding them or from what it is. Between two men's heads, an old fellow has a beard. They're indicating who a person is in this group. But they don't say where they are or what they're doing, unfortunately. But that's just a cool scene, kind of a snapshot of time, going back in time. I love this card because of the contrast. It was clearly taken at night. It's in Los Angeles of 1916, and it is a float. There's some sort of a parade happening. You got some women up on this float sitting on what looked to be ostriches or emus of some kind, and women dressed up with crowns and hats and pretty little dresses. And you can just imagine the glow of the lights on this thing. Really cool. Again, we don't know what type of parade it was, but maybe a little bit of research into June 17, 1916 Los Angeles parade or something. I might be able to find something on that, and I will definitely look before I try to list it. I like this card, guys, for a couple of reasons. It's just a cool look of a family back in time. You got this little boy here, and look how cute he is. He's got his little, overalls on here. His hands are in his pockets. Cute little, he's standing on a box with a cover over it. And then you got this beautiful young lady here, just standing there. It's mom. It looks like mom, maybe big sister, but definitely seems old enough to probably be a mom here of this little kid. Just looking straight. I mean, look at those eyes. Look at that face. And she's got this cool little locket around her neck, probably a photograph of a loved one or a family member in there. Really cool shot. Very standard card. The interesting thing about this one is that someone has gotten a hold of it and scraped or smudged an orange crayon all over the back of it. Really bizarre. Don't know why they would have done that. Glad they didn't damage the front of it, though, because that's a really cool card. Reason number 2 that I love selling postcards is that I can find them for very, very inexpensive prices. I will buy lots most of the time on eBay or other places, lots of them at a time, and I can get the price down to 20 cents a piece or less. For example, this card, it's a real picture postcard of a man on a horse trying to rope a little calf, and it says flying cutlets on it. This card cost me about 15 cents, and I should be able to sell it for at least $10, and I do that every day of the week. In front of us, we have Alex Simmerow in his 1908 Buick in Catonsville, Minnesota. Look at this awesome old jalopy vehicle here. And it says, it's a Buick on it. And you got this man, and man, is he proud of this thing. Just posing out in front of it. No information on the back. Cool looking card. Real picture postcard, but it is a glossy representation. So it was, I imagine a lot more multiples were made of this. You can see kind of that glossy, crackly look on the top of it there. Next up, Great Lakes Exposition in Cleveland, Ohio. We've got Fred Voigt, who looks to be the captain of the Bird's South Pole ship. And then also we got old Chief over here on the side. His trusty right-hand canine. No info on the back. Wouldn't you know it? But we definitely have enough information on the front here to give a good title. There are people out there who collect just old ship postcards, and then also potentially ones from this specific exposition. Here's an interesting real picture postcard. The Katunka Tribe, number 455, Degree Team 1921. This was a fraternal organization from my research of men, maybe one of the oldest fraternal organizations in the United States. And these guys are all dressed up in, headdresses, look to be Native American headdresses. Now, all these guys are straight up white boys, okay? Every single one of them looks like. So I don't know why they're going around dressing up like they're Native Americans, but they're doing it, and they're getting their nice little photo together. That corner of that one's clipped. It's been damaged and broken off, which is unfortunate, but because of how bizarre and unique this photo is, I'm guaranteeing I could get at least $15 to $20 out of that one. Here we have a postcard that I got out of a large lot of military postcards from, I believe, the 1920s. You can see in the distance there is a warship, battleship back there. This is also on a Navy ship. I believe this was the USS Delaware. And you've got a man here either pretending to sleep or actually sleeping next to a large critter. I don't know if that's a bear. I don't know if that is a koala or some other little beast, but it is a very strange looking card. It's kind of whitewashed, kind of like whited out. No information on the back here, but just a bizarre look. And again, unique, strange, bizarre cards. They sell very, very well. Okay, I don't know what's happening here, but you got a bunch of guys together hanging out. You got this fake backdrop in the background of teepees with, pretended hand-painted teepees. And you've got two men sitting together on a fake horse. You got the horse head here, and then the gentleman sitting in the front. I don't know who these guys are or why they chose this scene, this setting, for this photo, but it's still interesting, and I think it'll sell pretty well. Reason number 3 that I love to ship postcards is because you can store so many of them in such a tiny amount of space. In just one room here at the warehouse, we could store millions of postcards if we wanted to. In this one little drawer, I have around 500 right here. I could fit roughly 1,000 in this section and 1,000 here. That's 2,000 items in one tiny little drawer. And if you look over here, folks, we've got all kinds of stuff we can store, so it's a perfect type of thing if you want to get a lot of quantity and not have to spend a lot of money on space. The thing I love about this card, a couple of things. It's a real picture postcard. As you can see, that shimmer, that's just stinking cool looking. You've got this old man with a beard here. He's just sitting, posing in a chair, probably a chair in his own house. But in the background, if you look real close here, on the wall, this thing says, I think it says Bakery and Confectionery Workers International Union of America. Bakery and Confectionery Workers International Union of America. That is cool because this will lend some ability to date this card in the absence of information about it. And also when you see old advertising in old postcards for products, things, is really cool. There are people who collect postcards that just had to do with advertising, like Disney World or Coca-Cola or things like that. This is just such a cool, that's the kind of thing I might want to sit down and try to draw or paint at some kind of time, because the contrast on that is just a super cool photographic image. This was a common sort of look and theme back in the 1910s and early 20s, was this crescent moon image. Now, I've come across other postcards where people are also standing or sitting in and around a scene like this that has the crescent moon and the stars, and then you've got this old airplane in the background. In this case, it's just a father and a couple of daughters, it looks like. It looks like he's hanging out. It's probably a bench seat there. They've set this up with that backdrop in the background. Just a fun little family portrait. And this one says Dad, Mina, and Helen. So that's nice. We got the family names on here, and it's just a cool sort of artistic representation of the moon. This guy is coming to see you. I mean, look at him. He's riding on his dusty road on his old bicycle and his little old hat. And here he comes. Get yourself ready. Put on the kettle. Oh, man. Miss E.M. Olds in Detroit Avenue, all right? In the city, all right? You don't, in case you were wondering if this was the country or the city, it's a city. This is 1909 in Ohio, and it was at Station G, so this was canceled at a railway station, believe it or not. They would transport a lot of the mail along trains, which was a primary form of transportation at the time, and it was no different for freight and for mail. You may or may not be aware that today they use airplanes to transport stuff, and they use passenger airplanes a lot of times. And, you cannot mail, for example, flammable things in the mail. And one of the biggest reasons for that is that they put, mail on commercial airlines. So along with your luggage down there may be packages of mail. And so they don't want that burning down with people in flight. Just interesting how that has changed over time. Okay, let me back up. Another reason that I love selling postcards. If you get on eBay, there are currently over 5.5 million postcards for sale. And in the last 90 days, over 670,000 of those have sold. So there is a very large demand for people purchasing this category. And as you can see here, they range. People will sell postcards anywhere from 1 cent all the way up into hundreds, if not thousands of dollars for one single card. Let me just show you real fast. Highest first. Now, we're probably going to get some lots. Let's see. Here's a single postcard of Ty Cobb that sold for over $10,000. Keep on going. Here is an album of postcards that sold for nearly $5,000. Here's 114 item lot. So 114 cards sold for $4,000. And on and on and on. Folks, there's big money to be made in this category. Talk about a cool scene. It's just so... I mean, this is clearly not posed. It was more like a, hey, I'm going to take a picture. And that was it. And you've got a man in the foreground giving a look. You've got all of these men in the background here. One guy's smoking a cigarette. Other guys have climbed up on the flagpole. This is clearly taken at a camp someplace, military camp for the Navy. You've got poles in the background. You got men in the background on the right there in the distance. And they're all just hanging out. I don't know if they're getting ready to push off for sea, if they just got back. Not really sure what's happening. But this is a motley crew if I've ever seen one. Nothing on the back. I don't know where it is. This is a cool scene here. Again, kids dressed up for some sort of celebration of a holiday, or maybe they were doing something interesting in class. There was a play or something. You've got a man, a boy rather, on the far right. He's holding two components of a long rifle with large, very fake-looking beard and hair. You got another man. I keep saying man. These are children, Rusty. 12-year-olds probably. On the left, you got old Bill Shakespeare, looks like. And then in the middle, you got perhaps a witch. I don't know. Some pirates around there. Just a really cool setup of kids and what they would dress up costume-wise back in the early 1900s. All right. This is such a stinking cool picture postcard. You've got large white borders on it. You can see it is a real picture postcard. It's got some damage in the middle. It's got almost a puncture all the way through it. It is not punctured, luckily. I got to be careful with it. On the left, you've got a gentleman who is pretending to have, he's got a headdress on and what looks like a long peace pipe, and then some other gentlemen sitting down. Let me just read this to you. Dear girls, please don't go to work for Farmer John. We would like to have you come and work for us. Think it over. All you have to do is cook and look pretty for us. Whew, man, it's the four Farmer Browns. Now, you know, slightly racist on the photo, and then probably some sexism going on here. Just come work for us. All you have to do is cook and look pretty for us. I guess that's what all they thought women were good for, these guys. It's a shame. But anyhow, a little window into the past, and also a window into sort of common belief systems of people, and also what passed as humor. Greetings from Kansas. If you ever want to come see lots of skulls and skeletons, just come on down to Kansas. We got oodles. We visited October 1968. It's located on an old farm on dirt road off Main Highway. Well, that's not very specific, friends. How many old farms and dirt roads off of main highways are there in Kansas? You basically described the whole state, friend. Indian burials in Salina, Kansas. Okay, so we're in Salina. This is from 1936. Yet they visited in 1968. So this is a postcard from the 60s. This is one of the newest cards in this whole lot, but it's so stinking bizarre. I just had to pick it up. Okay, back. We're going to jump back in time about 40 to 50 years here and take a look at this young lad who's dressed up in military regalia. He's got his nice little jacket on here, his little white tights. Those are the kind of things you use when you're going to go out skiing. But he's on this little bench, and this was viewed as like a real cute, it was kind of a common thing to dress up kids to look like adults, and the adult things that they did, like going off to war. Real picture postcard here. Let's see if it says who this young whippersnapper is. He's aged 3 years old and 6 months. It's old Charlie Leslie Rice, okay? So old Chuck here, Charlie Rice. Wonder whatever happened to him. This is an interesting shot here, folks. This is at Deer River, Minnesota, and it does appear to be a photograph of a couple of Native American individuals, and just judging by their appearance, but I don't know that for sure, obviously. We got what looks to be a rug or some sort of garment in the bottom middle there. They got their stack of firewood. He's got a nice canoe behind him, and they got a little tent back there. It looks like they're up against a river or some kind of, well, it says Deer River. I'm going to go out on a limb there and say that this is Deer River that are next to you guys. I may be wrong on that, but anyhow, cool real picture postcard. Someone just said, hey, I want to take a photo of you guys, if that's all right. And they were like, well, I suppose. I like this right here. Some good old humor from back in the old days. They're out in their snow. I don't know if they're going out hunting. I don't know if they're going out camping, what they're doing, but old Ralph, as I'll call him, right here by my thumb, he decided that for a photo, he was going to try to balance his pack on his noggin, and that's what he's doing. So, you know, good on you. Nice skills there. Kind of a cool postcard. No information, so I don't really know what's happening there. Last up, folks, in this series is this card right here. We have, it looks like a man and a couple of women sitting on a bunch of crates. I don't know if those are like fruit crates, apple crates. Looks like he's holding something, maybe a knife. Maybe he is, maybe he's cutting on something. Maybe it's fruit. Oh, there's also a little girl in the background there. I never noticed that. Look at that right there in the middle, in the back. She's got a little flower in her hair, looks like. How cute. So you got the whole family. It's a day of doing some work. Nice real picture postcard. Awesome stuff. Guys, if you can come across cards like these for $5, $4, $3, or cents, grab them, people, because they're selling really well. Just check out eBay. I'll get it on and do another video soon to show you some stuff we've sold recently, and show you, instead of just telling you, that money can definitely be made on these. I hope you like this, guys. I love me some postcards. You guys take care and stay safe. Aside from just having it be easy to source them, inexpensive to ship them, inexpensive to purchase them, inexpensive to store them, they're just stinking cool. Guys, this was a way that people communicated with one another. Imagine if you could go and just read random people's emails to each other with no context at all, how strange, bizarre, and fascinating that would be. Well, you're basically able to do that, only you're doing it with communications from people 100 years ago. You get a window into the past. You get to learn from people what they were thinking, what they were doing, what was important to them in life, what kinds of things that they wanted to share with their loved ones and their family and their friends. It's fascinating, folks. It's really fun. It's honestly like a historical adventure. And that's just the byproduct and the one of the fun side effects of selling postcards is that you get it's entertainment. it's entertainment that not only rather than it costing you money, you make money on it. Of course, you do have to spend money to purchase them if you want to sell them, but the amount of money you can make, the margins are incredible. And so that is just a few of the reasons that I love buying and selling postcards. How about you? Do you ever do that? If you don't, you should certainly consider it. Let's go make some money. Rusty hair.